My name is Amanda Brennan, and I am currently the head of content and social at Tumblr. I've been at the company for about 6 years now, and my job has evolved a lot in my time here. Um, what I do right now is I focus on like two different angles. So the first is running the social media for the social media company, and that is Tumblr's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, across which we have over about 10 million followers, which is kind of scary when I think about that out loud. But we are posting to these audiences and getting Tumblr content out in these other spaces. Our goal there is to we know our audience and we know what people are excited about on Tumblr, and we want to bring that audience to these other places and kind of meet people where they are. The goal is if someone stumbles upon our content on Facebook or something, they'll be like, oh, what? Tumblr has content about this? Then they eventually will come back to Tumblr and sign up. A lot of it too is about brand recognition and just making sure that we are out there in the world posting content, and so people can see oh yeah, Tumblr posts stuff like this, they're funny, or I love the content they share. We share a lot of self-care and a lot of reminders to hydrate, and we just really want to create a really happy space out in the social universe. The other thing that I do is I work on our content team, which looks at the internal blogs that we run, like art.tumblr.com, music, or not music, books.tumblr.com, kpop.tumblr.com, and my baby, fandom.tumblr.com. And on fandom, we have a really amazing system that ranks 9 items in 9 different entertainment categories. We publish it every Monday. It's called Fandometrics, and it takes into account how many reblogs, likes, searches, and original posts were made about a thing over the course of 7 days. Then we weight some actions more than others. So if you make an original post about something, that's worth more than if you just like a post about something. And we give each item a trending score. On that trending score, we then rank it. We rank TV shows, movies, music, K-pop groups, celebrities, internet celebrities, and webcasts, web series, podcasts, all of that stuff. Anime, I think I didn't say. There's 2 more categories, and I'm totally blanking on what the rest are. But my personal favorite category is shipping. And shipping is a fandom practice in which when you really like a show and you really want 2 people to get together romantically. So it's short for relationship. And our shipping list is always the most engaged list across the board. It is so fun to look at and to see what people are investigating in fandom, what people are excited about. And the thing that I love the most about these lists is that Tumblr is so different from everywhere else on the internet. So our top TV shows don't really look like the top TV shows you would get on Nielsen or even Twitter. Our top TV shows right now are Steven Universe. Steven Universe just ended and everyone is talking about it. It was just a life-changing show for a lot of people. The Witcher has been huge. There's been so many shows that people just get wrapped up in, and Doctor Who is one of those that no matter, even if it's not airing, it's probably on the list because people are just talking about it so much. So it's really interesting to see what our community is excited about and what our community wants to share with others. I do a lot of things and I joke a lot that I basically have 7 jobs, but I like to be able to translate what's going on the website to the people who maybe not are on the website, or maybe think that Tumblr is one thing and then they're like, oh, Tumblr has this kind of stuff on it. And I'm like, yes. Do you know about the bread community? Because the bread community is very hot right now. Everyone is baking bread while they're stuck in quarantine. And Animal Crossing, all Tumblr can talk about right now is Animal Crossing and Steven Universe, and that's it. It's been really refreshing in this world that we're living in right now, where you can kind of take a step back and not be bombarded with news all the time. And the news is there, but there's definitely just a really nice ecosystem of like relaxing gifts or like bread recipes and Steven Universe, which is really wonderful. Um, as for how I got here, I graduated with my BA in English in 2008 from Drew University. Then I couldn't get a job, so I worked in the mall for a while. And while I was there, I decided I ran into someone I went to high school with, and she was like, "Oh, I am going to library school. I think you would really like it." So I was like, I've got nothing better to do. Uh, so I applied to Rutgers and I got in, and I was like, okay, guess I'm going to be a librarian now. And while I was there, they introduced a social media track. And a lot of people, when they think about librarians, there's a very specific stereotype. But in the past, 10 years or so, because this was 2011 at that point when I graduated, information studies programs have really adapted and really been thoughtful about how we connect with each other online, how we share information online, and how we just talk to each other on social media, like from the shit posts that we say, like share to like the memes, but also the really serious stuff. So I did, my thesis project was on the way that people tag on Tumblr. And so I've been studying Tumblr really since like 2009. I've been doing this for a while. Um, and the way that people tag was so unique to the platform at the time. And people still, they don't use tags like they do on Instagram, and they'll still tag, like if this post is a photo of a cat, it'll be like tag cats, tag meow, but also maybe like tag I love my cat so much they are my best friend, like a full sentence. And that's something that has just been really unique to Tumblr culture that I've been studying for so long. So I got my MLIS in 2011, and from there I started working for the website Know Your Meme, which is how I got coined the meme librarian, because I am literally the librarian of the memes. And there I was cataloging the history of internet culture, the history of like where a meme came from, how it evolved, how people shared it, why people shared it, and what happened after. So when I was there, it was like when Antoine Dodson was a thing, like what was the song? The Hide Your Wife, Hide Your Kids. Um, I worked on all of that, like really explosive meme culture in 2012. Gangnam Style happened while I was there. Basically, every like Scumbag Steve, all of those memes that are like, you look back now and it's like, God, that was a million years ago. But like the stereotypical advice animal with like a picture and words on the top and bottom and impact font. And it was a really interesting experience to look at the internet specifically through the lens of this language of memes and the information sharing behind it. And like, yes, you're sharing a funny meme, but like what deep down does that say about us as a culture, as us as people? So I did a lot of really fun work there. I started at Tumblr in 2013, where I helped launch the Year in Review program, which is our end of the year giant, like we do upwards of 50 lists and other kinds of posts, just looking at the best of the things, the best of the best things on Tumblr over the year. So it's been really fun to work on that and evolve it and see how it's changed over time. This past year, we did an amazing post about the history of the book and then TV show Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. And it was just so wild to see like the history since 2013 of how people talked about this book. And then, David Tennant gets signed on, and like you see the bumps in data. I look at a lot of charts. That is basically my life, looking at charts, looking at trends. Yeah, let me look at some of these other questions. In high school and college, what led me to my career, just like being on the internet, honestly. I was an indoor kid who spent a lot of time looking at the internet, but the internet was very different when I was in high school a million years ago. There was still AIM and chat rooms and stuff like that, but I think that being online all the time kind of primed me to think in this way and to think critically of what we do online. I think so much of my career has really been about thinking about how the internet affects us as people off the internet. And what does it mean when we participate in these communities online for our lives and who we are as people? Something that I've been really passionate about since I've been at Tumblr has been Tumblr is very different than a Facebook or an Instagram. Like I think of I think of Facebook as a phone book. It's like a utility. I think of Instagram as like these dreams that people have, like living your best life. Like these are my goals. And Tumblr is just kind of this space where you can really dive into who you are and like figure out figure out who you are through the things that you like and define your life by your interests rather than like what you desire the most or like who you know. This is like where you can look at the core of who you are and what makes you happy and figure yourself out from there. And trying to think about how people connect through that, that's what really my job allows me to do. Um, so just it's weird because when I was in high school, I would have never thought that this one was a job because like MySpace was a thing, but here we are. And two, I always kind of had this interest in like psychology and sociology, and like I get to do all of that while also looking at information and data and like these high level things of like how people talk about bread and like um, I get to generate charts of like who what is Tumblr's favorite Pokemon or like which is really silly things, but then you get to crack it open and you're like, okay, so what does it mean that people as this general hive mind like X over Y? Or like what does it mean that everyone is going out to bake bread right now, you know, like to the point where like yeast is scarce and like what does it mean that like we're all a little self-isolated and kids are asking their parents to do TikTok videos with them and their parents do them and their parents are learning the TikTok dances, which are I've seen so many of these videos that are just incredible. Like the dad doing single ladies, which is older than a TikTok dance, but um just watching that and like how do we as a culture evolve through the lens of the internet? Um it's been really cool. And overall, like if I could have any recommendations for students who want to go into tech, you don't need to know how to code, but I know a little bit of SQL, but and like basic HTML from designing my MySpace in 2004. But like you can work in tech without being an engineer, and look for opportunities. Don't be afraid to make up your own path. Um, I pretty much just kind of like decided that this is a thing I wanted to do. These were skills that I had and just kind of charged along. I sent a lot of cold emails. Um, I I got my job at Know Your Meme by just emailing them, and I was like, "Hello, I'm a librarian, and I would love to talk about how you guys organize information. I love the internet. How can we work together?" I did. I just signed up for the website, made a couple posts, and participated in that community that led to a career. And just not being afraid to think of something and then be like, "All right, I'm going to put this into the world and see where it goes." Um, yeah. Internships are important, but my internship was in a tape library, which is now a coffee shop. So it's hard in information science because everything is changing so fast. Just be adaptable. That is probably the biggest piece of advice I would have. I manage a team of 3 right now, and I tell them all the time, like, don't get stuck in a way of thinking just because like it's what you've always done. Like, okay, well, you've done that and it's not working anymore. So let's try a different lens. Let's look at it a different way. Um, Being able to adapt is so key in tech because everything changes. Like nothing is the same for more than 2 weeks. And if it is, like, maybe you're the one who needs to make the change.